welcome to today's episode. Today I'm going to be talking about luteal phase depression, mood swings, even severe fatigue and suppression in the luteal phase. Now the luteal phase is your second half of your cycle, so I'll just break it down a little bit. A normal cycle is around 28 days long. Day one is the first day of your bleed. And then obviously you bleed, some people bleed for 5 days, 6 days, 10 days, everyone's a little bit different. But generally you have a bleed for about 5 days. Then on around day 14 you have a LH surge. And what this causes is this causes ovulation. This causes for the egg to be released around mid-cycle, day 14. Then from about day 14 to day 28, that's your luteal phase. These are the 2 weeks where the corpus luteum, which is the released egg, starts to produce hormones, estrogen and progesterone, to ready you for pregnancy. And then if you don't get pregnant, your period comes around again around 28 days later. Now that is your normal cycle. Now a lot of things can happen in this luteal phase. So we've got symptoms, for instance. So you could get symptoms. Some people get no symptoms because they go through this quite easy and breezy. But if you're one of the unlucky ones, you might experience headaches, nausea, extreme fatigue, insomnia, anxiety, lightheaded when you stand, feeling cold or sweating, maybe mild cramps, maybe bloating, maybe constipation, maybe even diarrhea for some. So there are an array of different symptoms. Other symptoms as well that also indicate that maybe ovulation hasn't happened as it should is you may get that egg white discharge on day 14 or around there, but instead of getting it for that one day and then kind of drying up, you get the egg white discharge kind of on and off through your luteal phase. You might also get nerve pain. You might also get very bad body pain, migraines, increased fibromyalgia, muscle aches and pains. And if you've got a condition like MS, chronic fatigue, herpes, any viral infections, fibromyalgia, you may actually find that your symptoms worsen a hell of a lot more during the luteal phase. And this can be due to the hormone shifts and also the sensitivity to the hormones if they are shifting around very quickly. Premenstrual dysphoric disorder is an extreme version of PMS. It's an extreme version of this luteal phase depression where extreme low moods, extremely fatigue. This will affect your thyroid. You just won't feel like doing anything. You just won't feel like hanging out with people. You'll feel very, very low. It is like depression, and some women fear they're suffering from depression, but it just happens in this window in the luteal phase. It can be debilitating for some women. It really makes you feel like you don't want to go out. It feels like you can't be bothered with work. It can affect your social life, it can affect your relationships, it can affect your work, and it can just affect your day-to-day life during that phase. So this PMDD can be extremely severe. So a few things can go wrong during this phase. There's lots of room for little things to mess up. For example, you could have no to late luteinizing hormone surge. If there's no LH surge, you may not get an ovulation. You could also have very little progesterone, meaning you get no ovulation. You could have excess progesterone, and excess progesterone does occur in a few women, particularly those with autoimmune disease. And what tends to happen is if you are highly stressed or you have insulin resistance or high blood sugar, progesterone gets converted to pregnenolone and allopregnanolone. And these can cause extreme symptoms because your body can be sensitive to these, and they can cause receptors from GABA to be blocked, and they can cause extreme fatigue, weariness and depression. You can also have no estrogen. So if you've got low estrogen, you might have testosterone issues during the luteal phase, anger, irritability, hair growth, acne, that kind of thing. Or you might have estrogen dominance and overstimulation of the follicles, where you've got these excess hormones leading to anxiety, leading to bloating, leading to irritability or insomnia with the excess estrogen. You're more heightened, maybe heart palpitations, that kind of thing. So you can see there's a lot of room for maneuver when it comes to the hormones, and everyone's a little bit different in terms of what's happening and what could be going on. So it really pays to dig in and just have a look at your symptoms, have a look at what can be going wrong in the luteal phase, look at the physical, mental, emotional symptoms, try and figure out exactly when you're ovulating. You look for that temperature spike, look for that LH serve, look for that egg white discharge. Note if you do have any pain around ovulation. Really tune into your symptoms to give you an idea of why you're getting those other symptoms during your luteal phase. Low progesterone to high estrogen. So if you've got low progesterone to high estrogen, we know low progesterone can be caused by chronic stress. Low progesterone can be caused by blood sugar issues. Low progesterone can also be caused by thyroid issues. But another thing that happens if you don't ovulate and you don't get the corpus luteum, your body during the luteal phase won't be able to produce progesterone. It's a corpus luteum that produces progesterone. So what you'll get in the luteal phase is those estrogen dominant and low progesterone symptoms, very sore, painful breasts, lots of bloating, lots of water retention, insomnia, anxiety. Those are what you get with that low progesterone to high estrogen. If you've got hyperinsulinemia, you're likely to suffer from no ovulation at all, so you might get a lot of pain down there. You might also get a lot of the egg white discharge sort of on and off through the luteal phase, so to look out for that. And again, you will get that anxiety, you might get sugar cravings, you might get insomnia. So really dig in and see what separate symptoms you are experiencing. If progesterone is converting too much to pregnenolone or allopregnenolone, these hormones you could be sensitive to, and you'll get more of that extreme fatigue, maybe extreme depression. Now, it's high insulin and stress that causes that conversion to go on more. So if you know that you're likely to have blood sugar fluctuations, you have sugar cravings, you have carb cravings in your luteal phase, you have diabetes in the family, and you suffer from these extreme symptoms during the second half of your cycle, it is possible that you're having that overconversion. So you really need to start to regulate your blood sugar and make sure you're not having too many sweets, too many sugars during that phase, and really work on your diet, and then also work on your stress levels to help you during your luteal phase, so you're not getting such terrible symptoms during that phase. So things like alcohol, things like sugar, things like stress, insulin, and polycystic ovarian syndrome can all kind of exacerbate these symptoms during that phase. But what's happening in the bigger picture is these hormone fluctuations, low estrogen, high estrogen, low progesterone, allopregnenolone, insulin, cortisol, what's really happening underlying is they are affecting your neurotransmitters. So there is something we can do, as well as treating the root cause and working on your hormones. We can also treat you acutely in the luteal phase. This is vital to make you feel better, because if you're suffering from any luteal phase depression, anxiety, you're really not going to have that drive to search for the root cause, because you'll either be feeling overwhelmed or you'll be feeling exhausted. And when you're feeling like that, you kind of don't feel like doing anything, and you don't feel like getting to the root cause. So what I want to talk about today is a couple of things you can do in your luteal phase to help with those extreme symptoms. So let's talk about low GABA, for example. We know that we know that progesterone potentiates GABA. We know that estrogen can regulate GABA. And we also know that too much conversion of progesterone to allopregnenolone can cause issues with GABA as well. So we want to have GABA nicely balanced. So when GABA is nicely balanced, you'll be able to adapt to stress. You'll feel happy. You'll be able to concentrate properly. Your memory will be in good working order. GABA also regulates pain as well. So when GABA is low, you get very, very tight in the body. You'll get muscle pain and you'll get tightness. You might get headaches as well, and definitely sleep problems and insomnia and a little bit of anxiety. Now, if this comes on a lot, but you don't get that extreme depression, fatigue, it's more that anxiety, it's more that body aching, it could be a sign of low GABA. Now, another thing that happens with low progesterone is serotonin. So progesterone regulates serotonin as well as estrogen. Now, low serotonin is extremely common, particularly in this luteal phase. You know, sign of low serotonin is more that ruminating. So low GABA is more body stress. Serotonin is more ruminating. You might get constipation. You might feel more compulsive. You might be depressed. You might have poor sleep. You might be craving sugar and sweet foods. You may just be feeling blah. Everything that you did enjoy before you don't enjoy, and all you feel like doing is watching TV. You know, work just feels like it's too much for you. Cleaning the house feels like it's too much for you. You can't be bothered to clean the house. You can't be bothered to wash your clothes. You just can't be bothered. And that can cause issues as well, and that can go back to estrogen and progesterone. So progesterone potentiates serotonin, so it causes it to higher, and estrogen more regulates it. So if estrogen is too low, you will have problems. If estrogen is too high, you will have problems. So those are what can be going on there. So what we want to look at is we want to look at how we can treat those symptoms and treat them so you'll feel better, and then you can get to the root cause. So let's have a look at serotonin. So if it's low serotonin, ruminating all the thought, compulsive thoughts, feeling joyfulless, not feeling connected to others, maybe a low libido, maybe constipated, maybe tummy cramps as well. That low serotonin, you can support the serotonin through things like 5-HTP, tryptophan. St. John's wort is amazing as well. It works like an SSRI, a natural SSRI, so works quite nicely. MSM is very good, and also methylfolate is very good as well. So you can use any of those and experiment with them in that luteal phase to see if they help to give you, you'll know they'll start to calm you down and give you that kind of joy back and level you out slightly. Now, GABA is more indicated, like I said, with that body aches and pains. You might be getting extreme headaches. You might be feeling a little bit anxious. And so GABA you can take either as GABA, but another thing you can take, particularly if you have extreme sugar or carbohydrate cravings, is glutamine. So you know, a couple of serves of glutamine on an empty stomach can help to support your GABA levels, but also it can help to quell those cravings, those sugar cravings. So glutamine can be fabulous during your luteal phase, particularly if you have extreme sugar cravings where you just end up demolishing chocolate bars left, right and center. Now, extreme fatigue can be caused because there's an issue with the sensitivity with your hormones, but another issue can be endorphins, if you've got very low endorphins. So something that helps to pick your endorphins up during your luteal phase can be L-acetylcarnitine. L-acetylcarnitine is wonderful for your endorphins and getting your dopamine going. And that's another thing that can be low during this time as well. Dopamine can start to get low, and low dopamine can cause that fatigue. You don't really feel like doing anything. You feel very disconnected, extreme low libido. So that can be low as well. Now, L-acetylcarnitine and rhodiola help to regulate dopamine as well. And that can just give you that pickup during that luteal phase, particularly if you find you're really dragging your feet. And for some women, it can last for 2 weeks. So it can be pretty exhausting and pretty debilitating, and it can put you a couple of steps back. So L-acetylcarnitine and rhodiola are fabulous for your endorphins and just getting that little bit of energy into the body to support you during that time. So we've got the serotonin, GABA, dopamine and endorphins for you to start to regulate during that time if you find you've got issues with them. Now, we haven't touched on the hormones. Now, the hormone balance is obviously a little bit more tricky, and I will go into more detail on those in my next episodes, but for now it was just to help you understand what symptoms you might be experiencing during your luteal phase and what you can do to give you symptomatic relief. You can use these amino acids for symptomatic relief. So let me know how you go. I look forward to hearing from you. Until next time, bye bye.